Welcome to the Ready to Love Season 4, Episode 7, but shows up in your DVR as Season 3, Episode 20. So confusing, but here we are. This is Couples Couch with
Pat.
And I'm Cam. Welcome. The name of this episode is called The Friend Zone. If you are new to our channel, this would be a high-level overview. We do not get into the nitty-gritty details of everything that happened in the episode, just what's important to the storyline for each supposedly couple. The shade. The show opens up with the guys showing up to the gentleman's lounge to meet up with Tommy. Tommy tells the men that they are past the halfway point and they now have the power to eliminate. This week, Tommy wants the guys to introduce the ladies to a close friend, their closest friend.
Close friend or family?
Yeah, I only heard closest friend. There was no.
Well, you
family.
heard me had his big brother there, so
It said it was his friend. He considers him his brother. So all
if
of your
the man
closest
says
friends.
it's his brother, I'ma think it's his brother.
Next scene shows Joel and his friends, even though he considered one of them to be his brother,
His big
at
brother.
his house. Joel and his friends are at his house. He's cooking up. I heard you. He's cooking up crabs.
No, I'm not asking a question. That's just how I end my statements. You heard me?
They're cooking up crabs, and he invites Vernisha to come over to meet his closest friends. So, in this scene, or these few scenes, production seems to try to do like a flip back and forth, because the next person to invite someone to meet their friends is Chris, and he invites Amber. But instead of trying to flip back and forth like production did in the episode, I'm just going to give you what happened in the scene with Joel and Vernisha, and then I'll move on and tell you what happened with Chris and Amber. Okay?
And I'll just chime in when I want to make fun of something, and I'll probably mess up your timetable.
I'm trying to keep this in order. So, Vernisha shows up to Joel's house to meet his friends. Joel asks Joel's friends ask Vernisha about the process and how it's going with her and Joel. And she says that Joel is her boo. That's her boo. And then Vernisha says that she's learning about herself in this process and making some adjustments, but her main focus is Joel. Vernisha says she plans on being, one of the first couples to get married off of this show, is what she told the friends. So that was pretty much their scene. They hug it out. Vernisha leaves. And then Joel comes back, to sit on the couch and recap with his friends. And his female friend says, I kind of picked up on a few red flags with her. She seems very territorial and even possibly clingy. Joel says, I guess only time will tell on how she really is. And that was their scene.
And here's why I didn't like it.
Jeez, gonna tear up furniture.
No,
Okay.
I mean, I think it's in. Don't get me wrong. Like, I probably would have voted Vernisha off too. Like, she's in my bottom picks. But I don't like the fact that they called her clingy, because in this situation, you're dating multiple people. Both of y'all are dating multiple people. So if you are interested in someone, you better
kind of be clingy.
Yeah, not be clingy, but you got to be a little more extra to let them know, like, I know you're going on other dates, but
I like you.
Yeah, I want to be, you know what I mean? If you really feel that way.
I think that's the catch about this show, is that it's hard to find the line on what is too much in showing too much interest versus showing not enough interest, because I feel like some people have gotten cut because they haven't shown enough. And then I think Chris last season got cut because he didn't answer a question right, or he was only showing so much interest to whatever person. It's just weird. I'm like, what are the rules here? But I see your point. You do want to show, like, hey, I do like you. So I want to really focus in on you, but then... But I mean, Vernisha said out of her mouth that she is territorial. She used that word, and I think that's what gave the friends the bad vibe.
I call BS.
They just had to go off of something.
So am I territorial because I don't want the person I'm dating other people?
No.
I wouldn't do good on this show at all.
No, I would don't want to share.
As soon as I like somebody. Every other male becomes when it comes to that person. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so I'm gonna go hard, so like, oh, he's territorial, controlling, or something like that. Like,
yeah.
no, I just like you,
I like
and
you.
you like me, so I don't want these other dudes around you.
I know.
I guess I'm territorial.
Get into the next scene with Amber and Chris. Chris is at his podcast studios, and he invites Amber over to meet his co-host or his friends. Maybe they're part of the show too. I didn't really understand how that worked, but maybe he's just meeting them in that setting. So his friends meet Amber, and they ask her, when pressure arises, how do you deal with conflict? She says that she likes to address conflict head on. She says she may raise her voice out of passion, but she will not curse you out.
This whole line of questioning is out of order.
It's kind of crazy.
What? I mean, do they get benefits?
What do you mean?
Well, this job interview everybody's on, are they going to get benefits? Like,
it does give me interview type vibes for sure. It really does. They also ask her, what does your family think about Chris? She says, I haven't told my family about Chris yet. She says, what about your friends? She said, I haven't told my friends yet. They were like, oh, that's a red flag.
y'all do realize we're filming, and they probably had me sign a do not disclose order.
Oh.
So I can't really tell anyone about this.
And what's to tell?
Yeah,
We don't even know where we're
girl,
going.
I'm dating 6 different dudes. Without context, like, that's, no one's gonna want to tell that.
Yeah, this to me, there's nothing to share at this point, because you don't know if you're gonna make it till next week. You might be voted off while you're over here telling everybody who you like.
You might get voted off at brunch and not want to tell anybody you're on the show, and hope everybody missed episode 1/3.
Exactly.
Maybe 4.
So his friends tell Amber that she seems very calm and authentic and a perfect match for Chris. And then they hug it out, and that was the end of their scene. My only thing that I took away from the ending portion of that meet and greet is that how can you tell off of one meeting that this person is the perfect match?
The kind of information and the kind of interaction they having, I wouldn't trust any of them to lend them $5, right?
I don't know you.
How are you making all these assumptions?
Yeah.
Because you asked me some interview questions.
Well, I guess the same thing with a job. And then you get on the job, and then you get, your performance appraisal proves otherwise. You said you was good in Excel. You don't know the first thing about typing up a formula in there.
I didn't receive the training.
Your resume says otherwise. No, I'm just saying.
That was on Windows 97.
We got Windows 10.
Yeah, I got Windows 10 now.
Next scene shows Jason meeting up with his friends at, looks like a lounge, but you could play like putt-putt golf there or whatever. He invites Liz to meet his closest friends. And as Liz arrives and, greets everybody and gets ready to give her first swing, boom, shows up Kyra. And she's like, oh, I was feeling honored to be, meeting his closest friends. I didn't know Kyra was going to be here too. So that just kind of threw it off, because it's like now you're trying to already put your best foot forward, but now you got to put it like in competitive style. You got to put it in that extra drive. You know what I mean?
And this is where the show lost me. I lost interest at this moment.
In that part?
Am I watching people date and navigate the dating world? Or am I watching 2 contestants show up for one man that, let's be honest,
to compete?
Ain't nobody fighting for this dude in the real world. Not on a date. No self-respected female is gonna allow a guy to schedule 2 dates at the same time. And if they do,
sit down for it.
Yeah, and act like it's okay. And if that does happen, it won't be for this guy.
And this is why we know it's a show. So they sit down and talk with his friends. Kyra asks his friends, what kind of dude is Jason? They say Jason is very resilient, ambitious, self-driven. Kyra says she's looking for a man to be the head of the household because she doesn't want to have to wear the pants. I am also noticing a trend. This is just my part real fast. that everyone is looking for the man to be the head of the household. I thought that is something that should already have been a given. I didn't know you had to put that down in your list of requirements. Why does everyone feel the need to say that? Like Vernisha said that last episode to Dietrich, that she's looking for a man to lead her. Here come Kyra saying she's looking for a man to be the head of the household. It's just like I'm noticing a trend, and that may be the analyst in me.
You want me to tell you why?
Tell me why.
The reason these women are saying that is because they're a little bit scorned.
They had to be.
I'm assuming.
Yes.
In Patrick's opinion.
Okay.
And this is what I see happening.
Okay.
Your dating experience is based on the men or women you choose to pick.
Yes.
So a lot of women in their 20s or early 30s or whatever stage in life pick men based off stupid stuff a lot of times. And expect for all men to be good guys. That ain't how it works. If you want a good guy and you want a guy to act a certain way, you got to pick qualities that guy has.
Yeah.
You've been dating dope boys through your mid to late 20s because they were cool and they had flashy clothes. They was in a club popping bottles. I mean, listen, be honest. This is what happens.
And then they want him to be the dude to come home and watch The Notebook with you.
Right. Or dudes is in their 20s out there popping bottles and spending their rent money at the club and one night on table service. And the girls you're gonna attract, you can't.
Yeah.
The problem comes when y'all have babies.
Yes.
Y'all are supposed to be in each other's life for a short period of time, maybe 2 weekends popping bottles, and then split and be gone. Like, it's going on.
And then they get into these, long-term situationships.
Because they got kids.
It's not a relationship. And then they now they end up on Ready to Love because they want.
And now they looking for somebody, and they've been dragging this dude along or supporting him. And now they want a head of the household because you've been dating little boys all your life. Now I got to be an extra man. What is this, 1940? Like, we fighting for equal rights, equal pay.
Yeah, I want my equal rights.
And equal pay. Like, no, step up.
I'm going to need all
Take care of some of these bills with me equally. Let's handle these problems that come to the family equally. Like, no.
And that's the other thing. And we can make a whole other episode about what leading and being head of the household is, but we won't get into that. Let's get into the rest of this scene.
We are the head of the household. We are a united front.
Yes, and
one not over the other.
I completely concur.
That's what's wrong with these people. They say they want a head of the household, but when they get that man that wants to be the head of the household and don't want you to work,
he won't let me leave. Charlie, he coming. I gotta go. He coming.
Yeah. He just expect dinner to be done every day. Yeah. If that's your chore, if that's what your head of the household instructed you to get done, you better have that dinner done.
I'm not doing this. Okay. So Liz says that she's looking for a man to lead the house spiritually. So then Kyra mentioned...
So what does that mean? He got to set the alarm to get up and go to church? What does that mean?
I'm not...
He's in charge of your heart?
You got to... Your relationship.
God ain't gonna try. Listen, he not trying to hear that.
I guess he wants.
Well, my man wasn't leading me. Okay, I wasn't talking to him. I'm talking to you. This is me and your interview. I don't do my interviews with two other people like your friends do. Yeah.
Jesus giving
this is me and you. What did you do with your life and how did you live your life? Well, I wasn't with the right man. You should have been with me.
Jesus.
Thank you.
Okay, gonna move on. You good?
I'm good.
Okay, so Kyra mentions that she wants to be married in 5 years. Friend of Jason says, what if that doesn't happen? Because, things don't happen according to what you would like to have planned. She looks at Jason and said, man, within 5 years, you know whether or not you want to marry me. Is that true, coming from a man's perspective? Do men typically know if they want to marry somebody within 5 years of being with them? That 5 years is a large time frame.
I ain't never been with nobody 5 years I wasn't married to.
I'm just asking.
No.
What is your problem?
I'm aggravated.
I think this is hilarious.
Oh. I wasn't ready.
Kyra said that Jason's friends were cool, but she couldn't help but think, like, did Jason date that girl that was there? So that was a thought on her mind. Like, his female friend, she was concerned that maybe he
the light-skinned girl?
Yeah, she said.
She wasn't ugly, but there was...
It was something about her.
Something about her.
So at that point, Kyra heads out, and Jason asked his friends, like, what did he think about, you know, Kyra and Liz? Because Liz had already
underbite.
left.
That's what it was. She had an underbite. That's why she looked funny. I mean, not funny, but she just...
Yes. So anyways.
Unique.
They ask, Jason asked them, what do you think about the ladies? They say they prefer Kyra because Kyra is more down to earth. And they said that Liz was very stiff to them and they could feel the presence of the Lord.
She said stiff. Yeah, sitting by her, like I can feel the Lord's presence. Like, bro.
I guess because she was talking about the Bible and how, you know, Jason broke down the book of Daniel, and I don't know what else was said that wasn't seen, but for them to say the book of the Lord's presence was coming out.
She's boring.
There it is. Jason said that he prefers, or he has a better connection with Kyra. They have taken it to the next level. So he is leaning more towards Kyra.
Yeah.
And that was it for that scene. So let's move on to the next scene of this episode.
You want to be at the club having fun or in bed early so you can wake up and go to church?
Nothing wrong with church.
I didn't say there was. I said, which would you rather do?
Next scene, AJ and his friends meet up with Kyra for like some volleyball. They play a couple rounds. They lose. AJ and Kyra do. They go and have a seat, and then they start talking about like trying to get to know Kyra, and they start asking her some wild questions. Like,
how do you feel about female friends? I have to fill the situation out.
What's the last book you read?
What was the last book you read?
Book?
I'm like, does high school count? Mark Twain?
The user's manual for the HVAC system when we had the big freeze and I had to see if there was anything I had to do to turn it back on. I'm grown. I don't read books. I watch TV, Netflix, and I work.
Does an audiobook count?
I do enjoy audiobooks, but I'm not reading them. They're being read to me. I got like 57 books in my library.
I know you do. All audiobooks, but I have yet to see you sit down and grab a book and just sit and read them.
And you won't see me sit down and grab a book and read. I don't enjoy it.
And there are some people who are like love books and like that's their thing and they don't want to.
That's because they haven't heard an audiobook. I'm telling you.
I don't know. I just thought that was like,
some people do
these are questions that you want to know.
Putting it on the people like, oh, their friends are whack for asking these stupid questions. It's not them. It's the show.
Yeah, it's the script for the show that they want them to ask them random questions.
We already been on these awkward trying to get to know you, ask you question dates.
Yes.
Like we've done it one-on-one. We've done it in conjunction with other contestants.
Know what the best thing is? You said last episode was this reminds you of 50 First Dates. Because it's like it's a first date every time they meet.
Yeah,
every time. So anyways.
Why don't we go on a 2-day trip to where we got to drive do something together for an extended period of time.
Right.
Go through some obstacles.
Minutes, and then 45-minute meetup.
Jeez, this is...
I know. So anyways, Kyra leaves and they say she clearly has her guards up, but they can tell she wants to be with him. I don't know how they put that together with the scenes that we saw, but that's what happened in that scene. We can move on to the next scene. Next scene, Ron meets up with his friends where Chrysanthemum and Alexis also join them for another meetup. So it's like another triple date, right? Yep. Kind of a setup. And it's at a lounge. Chrysanthemum comes in wearing a jumpsuit with holes going all the way up one side, which she likes to call the surprise side. Alexis automatically starts hating, where you going with this?
This is the surprise side.
It's like, on the other side?
Now, let me tell you something. I'm not hating on no woman being sexy, but we meeting friends for the first time.
I ain't hating, but
Yeah,
you hating.
We here to meet friends. Like, where you coming with a jumpsuit? Which I understand what you're saying, but you sound like a hater. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I understand first impressions. You don't want. She's like, are we going to the strip club? They don't like each
Are
other.
y'all competing for a man?
So
Because one of y'all dressed like you competing for a man, and the other one is dressed like you ain't gonna win the show.
And that's the truth. So then Ron's friend mentions that Ron likes to travel a lot, and how will that work for them? Alexis says she's a woman of order and she likes to plan. So she has a village that can help her with her son. And Chrysanthia was like, well, I'm a flight attendant. I don't know. I like Chrysanthemum's energy, but I also think it's so stank. It's very stank. It's very stank, but I still like her attitude. I'm a flight attendant, so I could do that. Like, I could fly. You know, I'm always gone. And that rubs Alexis wrong, too.
How do you feel about that?
See, I'm a flight attendant.
Okay.
So, I'm always gone. I'm a flight attendant, so, I can do that. Chrysanthemum doesn't do a lot of talking. She's real pretty, but she'll give you 2 sentences.
Do you want kids?
I'm open.
Okay.
It's like,
It would rub me wrong too.
But the part that was wild was Alexis is like, Chrysanthemum's a very pretty girl, but she'll only give you a few sentences. That was shade.
Yeah.
That was like, dang. But then she made me kind of like realize she really only says 2 sentences at a time. She really don't give you but 2 sentences at a time.
IG model.
Ron was like, me and Chrysanthemum, we don't talk much, but we understand each other. And it's like, oh, what are y'all understanding? Because Chrysanthemum ain't saying really nothing. And when she does say something, got attitude with it.
Yeah, that's why when she had her little bubbly friend, when the twins...
Stacy, the freaking friend.
You didn't really see it, but ever since she left,
her
see...
attitude got more stank.
Yeah,
Ron's
like
friend,
a snobby one, too. Like, what do you...
It is. It gives a lot of...
What do you bring to the table?
A lot of
peanuts.
A lot. She do a lot.
And ugly. What do they call them? Flat. Them heels they wear.
The block heel.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called.
What are you
block
bringing?
heel.
You gonna give me some complimentary wings from the flight? Like you flight it to.
I know but she does give
You're
a
too
lot
bougie.
of this stuff with it. So then. Ron's friend asked Chrysanthemum, like, do you want kids? She's like, I'm open. Another one sentence. She said she never wanted to have kids. She was never wanting to be like, I want to have kids. She said she's selfish. She not.
Right. She wants to have a kid, but that's only to lock you into an 18-year payment plan.
Jeez. Then he said, so what about the holidays? What do you think about, can you cook? And she just started cracking up like, you want me to do what?
Did you not hear what was just said about me? Like, I don't bring anything. Like, look.
This is what's coming.
This is it.
Be quiet. So then she said that she didn't really like the whole setup. Like, she felt like she was on an interview. She's like, why are you asking me all these questions? I just want to talk and just be natural and organic. I can understand that part
But you don't talk.
I know.
And you're not natural or organic.
Organic. You're just saying 1 or 2 liners. You really are. You're not giving them much. The man asked you, do you want kids? You said, I'm open. That was it. You gave nothing else behind. You didn't give why you open.
She gives answers that take care of multiple questions. Because I'm a flight attendant.
I'm leaving, you guys. That's it. It was nice seeing you. And she left.
She went to surprise somebody with that left side of her body.
She was out. The other part of the scene that gave me a little bit of pause was when she said that, Alexis is willing to have 1 more kid. And she was like, because she's tired of playing monster trucks with her son. And they were like, well, that's what you got Ron for. And then his guy friend, kind of gave like a really weird
told me
chuckle.
everything.
He always want to play, and I told him I'm tired of playing monster trucks and dinosaurs because I'm a girl. So I need.
Well, you got Ron.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Sitting down next to him and
I
talking.
don't know. He might want 1 for himself, but he don't want to take care of nobody else.
He didn't see. I was like, why did his friend laugh like that? It was
Because
a
his
very
friend knows.
suspect giggle.
His friend knows. His friend has been at the bar with Ron when they was drinking. He'd be like, yo, she cool, she fine as hell, but she got a kid, and I ain't trying to take care of no kid. And that's where that came from.
That giggle was bad. That was a bad giggle.
His friends always give you
giveaway. It was a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
So anyways, Alexis leaves. They sit down and talk to Ron. They ask him who does he prefer. And Ron's friend said that they are actually feeling Alexis more than they are Chrysanthemum. No surprise there. And that was
Only
the end
person
of that scene.
feeling Chrysanthemum.
It's Chrysanthemum. I really think that Chrysanthemum is all about Chrysanthemum, as you can tell. And she ain't worried about none of them. She ain't worried about nobody but herself. Next scene shows David meeting up with his friends so they can meet up with Liz. Soon as Liz arrives, they hug it out, introduce themselves, and they dive right into the questions. Her friend says, how do you plan to be successful in a marriage? What are your tactics for being successful? She says that communication is key. She feels like, and I just feel like this is more interview stuff. It's a very interviewish type of setup. And then she says that she hasn't been in very many relationships. Because they ask her why is she not married. She says she hasn't been in very many relationships, but she feels like now is her time. David did reveal that Liz called him the night after she went out on the date last episode with Jason, and she told him that she kissed Jason. She wanted to tell him before anybody else could tell him. I guess she felt like loyalty because she said her heart is still with him and he is still her number one.
Which is why this show doesn't work.
Liz asked, is David ready to love? Do y'all notice the trend? All the girls are asking the friends, are the guys ready to love? Because AJ and Kyra had the same setup. And they said yes, but he's just very slow to making a decision on who he wants to be with. And that was pretty much their scene. I'm going to combine it with next scene. Next scene, then Kyra meets up with Jason for a date at an art gallery that his friend let him hold the keys to.
Art gallery.
That's what it was. They had a room with some art in there, and they were looking at it. And they meet.
It was all waiting to be graded for the local middle school art show.
Stop! Don't shade them.
For Harris County.
Don't shade
Harris
them.
County Independent School District art show.
They meet up at the art gallery. They walk in. There were rose petals everywhere. Jason says that he is a romantic for the right kind of woman. He said he will bathe her, rub her down, feed her, take care of her, do everything. Pretty much is what he said he will do for the right woman. So Kyra was very impressed.
Everybody can say that. Y'all know that, right?
Anybody could say anything, honestly.
You're not lying to me with the first couple times we date. Then are you really trying to be with somebody?
You got to bring your representative.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, I'll rub your feet. I probably told you before, I just love to rub your feet. Yeah, I guess y'all believe that other one. Let's just lay down and just... No, we're not going to do nothing. I'm not going to try nothing. Y'all believe that one too?
Be quiet. So they're at the art gallery and they're in there kikiing. And Kyra asks, do you see a future with me? And he says, absolutely. And then they go in and seal the date with the kiss. Of course, brings me back to what you just said 30 seconds ago. Of course he's going to say he can see a future with you. You're going to be like, nah, I don't. Nah. You ain't it. You ain't it. Of course he's going to say that. So he can kiss you at the end of the day. And that was the end of that.
So he could do more than kiss you at the end of this process.
Let's move on to the next scene. The next scene shows the guys showing up to the gentleman's lounge. They're returning back to meet up with Tommy to talk about how their dates went this week with their closest friends and the ladies. Tommy dives straight into the dates. He's like, all right, Joel, tell me how it went down. Joel goes into his date with Vernisha and talks about his concern about her being clingy. Then Jason goes on to talk about Kyra and Liz, and then he breaks down into tears.
You know, you have your own. It's all good. Yeah, all right, my brother. It's all good. So here I have two beautiful women that are trying to get to know me, and you hearing them say all these good things about you. And it's very unfamiliar for me to hear that from people about me.
To get the compliment.
Yeah, so it meant a lot.
I guess he said he hasn't had any positive encouragement in his life, and to hear the two ladies just saying nothing but positive things about him really brought him to an emotional place. I felt sad for him. I was like, dang, what kind of upbringing did you have? Why you don't have, the encouragement that you need. So for him to break down was pretty sad. I was like, okay.
And I'm just sitting there saying, they asked you which chick you like better. Why are
that
you
was on
crying?
his spirit. That was on his spirit before he could get to that. But he did go into talking about.
Well, if it's on your spirit, put it back on your spirit and send your spirit away somewhere. We're filming right now, and we don't need all these tears.
Gentleman's
Now
lounge.
everybody gonna come at me. Oh, this was wrong, emotional. But if you was being emotional, if they asked you something emotional, they ask you who you wanted.
Yeah, but he's thinking about how it went down. I guess he's thinking about the whole thing full circle. Like they came in, giving all the compliments. The whole.
What are they
setup.
supposed to say? He got bad teeth. He kind of corny. He tells me everything I want to hear in every situation, so I kind of don't trust him. Like, that's what you want to hear?
No, you're being so wrong. You're so
I'm
wrong.
being so right.
Oh my
What is he
God.
supposed to say? What are the girls supposed to say? I'm so glad that, nobody ever said nothing nice about me. And they're only saying it because there's only 3 girls left and they don't want to get kicked off.
I can't.
This is the same dude to go to a strip club and think the strippers really like him. Idiot.
He goes into talking about how the dates went with
He went
Liz
into crying about it.
and
You
Kyra.
say it right. He went into crying.
He said that his friends said that, in their opinion, Liz is too stiff. So he's leaning more towards Kyra. I'm moving on. Ron talks about Chrysanthemum.
Liz would
and
actually be
Alexis.
okay. Liz is so
I'm
thirsty.
moving on.
I know, but I got to have something to say. Liz should be the better choice for him because she'd be more receptible to his crying.
I'm moving on to Ron, Chris, Xanthium, and Alexis. He says his friends said, which way do you want to go? Do you want all the fun, or do you want to build yourself up and, make some out yourself? If you want all the fun, go with Chrysanthemum.
I'm already something. I want the fun. Who think you talking to? I'm not a bum. I'm already somebody. Everybody on these shows at least 36. You got Liz who's 49. Liz 46. 46. So everybody else. What you mean? Do I want to build and make something? I'm already there. You see this watch?
Just want to get
I want the fun. I did all my homework in high school. I missed parties in college. I worked real hard to go to graduate school. Got a job, paid my student loans. I've been doing the right thing all my life. I want to turn up.
Are you done?
Do you know what happens when I get bored? I can't stop.
Okay, so that was that. I guess he's leaning more towards Alexis because he want to be somebody. If you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere.
This ain't married at first sight. You not
You
married
better
either way.
wake up
You
and
dating. You better go out there. You better go out there and grab a hand of booty.
If you want,
If you want to lay somebody. If you want to pull some hair.
Okay, we're not doing this.
I can make songs too.
No.
I tried out for Glee.
I just want to get through this, y'all. Okay, so Tommy asked if the process was to end right now,
She a stewardess. She can go somewhere.
who would you pick?
Who is the one you're going home with? I'm gonna give you one more sip. Drink that. I'm gonna give you one more sip.
It'd be Kyle.
It will be Kyle. Okay. Joel. Kyle.
I was flabbergasted. Renisha been your number one this whole time. What are you doing, baby?
Fun.
AJ says Kyra. Joel says Kyra. We're like, Joel, you've been hanging tight with Vernisha, and because you think she's clingy and y'all got into some type of misunderstanding the night before, you just done.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Never heard a better excuse to be done with somebody. You know what? We got into an argument and I didn't like where it went, so I'm cutting off. If people would have done that, there's a lot of domestic incidents that would have never happened. Would have realized it's just crazy. and cut off right then and there, never would have had to go down that road. I tell you right now, there's some dudes out here with baby mamas. They wish they would have cut off after the first argument.
So it was
McDonald's, but I wanted Wendy's. I like their Frosties. You know what? Get out my car. Frosty.
I thought it was just wild.
It's McFlurry's over here.
She
had them all mesmerized. Kyra.
AJ said Kyra. Joel said Kyra. David says Kyra. He was like, apparently I'm going home with Kyra too. Then Jason's starting to look real some kind of way because he's like, yo, I just told the girl I could see a future with her.
And Puma over there like, don't nobody want my girl.
Chris, a.k.a.
And his
Chris.
girl, what? They're the only good couple. Think about it.
Chris and Amber.
They like each other.
Yeah, they seem genuine.
They both need to get kicked off the show so they go in the real world and date.
Ron says Alexis. Chris says Amber. Tommy says, so who's the weakest connection right now? David and AJ say Liz. Joelle says Chrysanthemum because she said she told Joelle, this is how you know Chrysanthemum and rap too tight. She says, I see you always with your kids. I wonder when you're going to have time for me. The man lost his ex-wife to cancer and is a single dad. And then you talk about, I always see you with your kids. When you gonna have time?
Perfect. She did the, listen.
What are you doing, Cassandra?
She did him a favor. Now he can make a decision based, that's the only real thing.
Dad, and you tell the man, I see you always with your kids.
But why is she gonna lie to him? Because if they get together, she gonna be like, yo, you can't get a babysitter? I'm telling, she's that narcissist.
Yeah.
Narcissistic?
That was messed up. So Joe was like, yo, I'm feeling messed up and effed up and all that when she said that. He did. And then Chris piggybacks on it and he's like, yeah, Chrysanthemum is all about her and nobody else. He was like, do you think, Chrysanthemum's available to love? He's like, Chris is not available. Chrysanthemum is not available. And then
that's the problem. She's too available
to get in contact with. No, they said she's also hard to get in contact with because she doesn't respond to messages. She doesn't answer her calls.
Because she's available to everybody.
Ron was like, I don't understand because when I call her, she answers, and
she's available to the one
that she texts me back.
Exactly, she's available to the one she wants. Yes,
to who she
there
wants.
It is.
So Tommy says, all right, well, y'all need to do some figuring out. One lady needs to go home. So let's get into the last few scenes of this episode to see who went home.
Kick him out.
Last few scenes show Ron meeting up with Liz and Chris meeting up with Chrysanthemum. Liz was like, we don't really have a connection, Ron and I, so something must be up why I'm, out here to meet him. Chrysanthemum comes in to meet Chris, and her attitude was already on stank.
She knew
100.
she was gone.
You think I'm capping?
I can't assume that I'm somebody's type.
Wait,
I'm trying to figure out. I know what this date is. I'm like, get to it.
She knew she was gone.
He tried to talk to her. She was like, I already know what this is, so just get to it.
All right. Well,
so then before he says anything, he's like, you think I'm capping? I'm trying to be friendly. And she's like, lies. Why am I here? So
because of this attitude you got right here.
Chris tell her that the men say they don't, like how long she takes to reply to messages. And she's like, well, I guess apparently they don't like the taste of their own medicine. And he
back to how she's been treated, the kind of guy she chose to be with.
Yeah. So then she's like, I don't do it on purpose. I just live a certain kind of lifestyle and I forget to respond. I don't know if that's the flight attendant lifestyle. I don't know. So then the scene flips. Ron is talking to Liz. And he's telling Liz that she's a little closed off and she needs to peel the layers back a little bit so the guys can get to know her better. And he's starting to look real nervous, like he's about to start sweating. And Liz is looking like, oh, Lord, what is he about to say? Then the scene switches and it goes back to Chrysanthemum and Chris. And Chris is like, the guys sat down and talked and they thought, what do they think?
That you are not ready to love.
Nobody want to love you.
You're not ready to love.
My bad.
That's not what they said.
My bad. You're not ready to love.
And
but still, nobody wants to love you.
She was like, I want to figure out. It's the way she do her face, too. I want to figure out who was not loyal. Because I'm going to figure it out.
You're not on the show anymore.
You have to text everybody what you don't like to do. Or call them.
Now we're not going to get back with you.
And then they flip back to Liz and Ron and show that Ron says that the guys decided that she is still ready to love. So she has another week to prove herself, or maybe 2 weeks, because I believe next week the women will have the control, if that's how it works.
Ain't no more women to get kicked off.
There is women.
6 men dating 2 girls. Some kind of other show.
And that was the end of episode 7, also known as episode 20 in your DVR. Drop your comments in the comment section below. We would love to hear from you, so you can tell us your thoughts. Do you think Chrysanthemum was the right pick to get voted off this week?
Yes.
I didn't ask you. Also, be sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button to support our channel. I'm interested to see what y'all have to say and where y'all think this is going, good Lord.
Yeah, because to be honest, the only reason I do this show is for the comments.
Y'all. I do it for them.
Because I don't like the show.
The show is alright.
Yeah, it's growing on you.
It's growing on me, so that's why I got through it yesterday.
I said what I said.
And what I'm saying is thank you so much for watching. And I will see you guys next week in our next episode. Also, be sure to tune into our live video tomorrow on YouTube.
Anything else?
That's it. That's
Deuces.
it. Bye, you guys. Thanks for watching.